Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So I kind of want to talk about this whole NBA and resting players policy. But before I get into that, just so you guys know, there is a Discord. If you guys are interested in the Discord, link will be down below in the video description. Same thing with the second channel. I have a second YouTube channel where I upload all kinds of things, just non-sports related. I talk about things, stuff like that, just whatever comes to mind. And I changed the channel banner. I finally put a Suns jersey on Kevin Durant, so now he's no longer a Brooklyn Nets player. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So the NBA has finally decided to go ahead and implement rules for resting players. And apparently, I'm on ESPN's website right now looking at the rules, and it says, basically, what are the new rules? And going over it, says, basically, if a team violates the policy, it would result in a fine of at least $100,000. Then the fine just keeps going up and up for every time that they violate it. But the thing is, like, what determines, like, my biggest issue with this whole thing is, like, how do you determine if a player's resting or is actually injured? You know what I'm saying? Because one of the, like, if I look at all 4 or 5 of the, like, the main talking points of this, number 1 is no more than one star player is unavailable for the same game. Number 2 is teams must ensure that star players are available for national TV and in-season tournament games, which is kind of a hard ask, but okay. Because, like, players are always getting injured. Like, how can you ensure that a player is going to be available for national televised games and in-season tournament games? Like, you know, if Paul George breaks his fucking leg, all right, put it back together, put him back on the court. Like, you know, there's got to be some type of like loophole to this or something. Number 3 is teams must maintain a balance between the numbers of one-game absences for a star player in home games and in road games, with a preference for those absences to happen in home games. Which I kind of understand that. Mainly because, like, when teams go on the road, like, especially if it's a bad team that they're going to play, a lot of people go out to those games to see guys like Steph Curry, Giannis, LeBron, and stuff like that. And if they're not playing, it even states that as an example. Like last season, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green all played in a home loss to the Indiana Pacers on December 5th. Then all 3 were rested for a road loss to the Utah Jazz 2 nights later. Under the new rules, Golden State would have been investigated and likely fined in this case. So basically, like, you can't play your best players at home games and then make them sit on road games. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with that. Like, that was something that, like, I think needed to be addressed a long time ago. Before, teams must refrain from any long-term shutdown or near shutdown when a star player stops participating in games or plays in a materially reduced role in circumstances affecting the integrity of the game. Which I guess this is in regards to tanking. Teams must refrain from any long-term shutdown or near shutdown when a star player stops participating in games to play in a materially reduced role in circumstances affecting the... So basically, this is for tanking. Like the last 10 games of the season, like they actually say, like, Damian Lillard sat out the final 11 games. Bradley Beal sat out the final 10. I think even Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers sat out the last 11. And number 5 is teams must ensure that healthy players resting for a game are present and visible to fans. So I don't understand that because, so basically, like, teams must ensure that healthy players resting for a game are present and visible to fans. So, and if a team violates this, it's a $100,000 fine the first time, $250,000 fine the second time. The third violation is $1.25 million. And it will be fined $1 million more than the previously penalty for violations beyond the third. So basically, it just goes up by $1 million. The thing is, I don't understand. Like, I understand why the league is doing this, but at the same time, I don't understand how this stops anybody from actually doing this. Like, for example, if you are the Indiana Pacers, right, and you have Tyrese Halliburton on your team, and he's your star player, right, and you decide you're gonna sit Tyrese Halliburton for the final 11 games of the season. Okay, so you pay, what, a little under, you pay, we'll give it an astronaut, like an absorbent number just for ha-has, $15 million, okay? Let's say you pay $15 million for Tyrese Halliburton to sit out those last 11 games, right? Now, that is a prolonged period of time, and yeah, that's a pretty hefty fine, $15 million. But the thing is, it's like, if you're the Indiana Pacers, it's like, what if you just put Tyrese Halliburton out there and just make it so he's not the primary focal point of the offense? Or you put him out there, but you tell him just, hey, don't shoot the fucking ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's the problem with these rules, and the problem with rules as a whole, is that they're meant to be broken. And it's kind of funny, actually, because there's odds makers already saying, like, the LA Clippers will be the first team to get fined. But it's just the idea, like, I understand wanting to crack down on tanking. That I understand. I understand wanting, players to be available for road games when they go on the road and they play for these things. Right, they play these games, and because that's what fans go to road games for. A lot of fans go to road games just to see Steph Curry, to see LeBron, to see Giannis. And if they don't play, it's disheartening. You know what I'm saying? You paid all that money to go see these guys play, and then it's like, oh, well, hey, we're resting all our starters tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a shitty feeling. So, just so you know, if you're ever going to go to an NBA game, don't go at the end of the year. Just saying. Like, go in, like, the beginning towards the middle of the year. The middle of the year is probably the best time. But it's just the idea. Then they throw things in there like, oh, teams must ensure that players are available for nationally televised games and the in-season tournament, which the in-season tournament, I don't know how that's going to work. It sounds like a clusterfuck. But how do you ensure a player plays? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you ensure Paul George is going to be healthy? How do you ensure Kawhi Leonard's going to be healthy? You make them play through the fucking injury? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sorry, this ain't the 90s anymore, you know? Players don't really do that shit. Unless that's what the NBA is trying to incentivize. I'm not sure what it is, but, like, even if, like I'm just curious, like, I'm just going to call it what it is. If you're Steve Ballmer and you're the owner of the fucking Clippers, okay? And you know that Kawhi Leonard is injured, and making him play could potentially injure him worse, I'm paying the fine. You know what I'm saying? You're paying Kawhi Leonard, what, 40 million plus a year, 45 million plus a year to be your guy, and the NBA wants you to play him because fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm Steve Ballmer, sorry, like, that's not the NBA's money at that point. Like, I'm the one paying him, and it's such a gray area. I don't like these rules when they come up. Like, I understand, like, making players available for away games. I understand that. You know, there's certain parts of this new rule, the new rules that they've implemented that I understand. But the other part of it, like, to me, is kind of like, how can you possibly force owners to enforce this? You know what I'm saying? Like, these people are multi-billionaires, okay? These people have more money than they know what to do with. A $100,000 fine, a $200,000 fine, that's their fucking bar bill. Okay? Like, I that's why I'll never understand these fines with the NBA and with sports. It's like, yeah, oh, we're gonna fine a player for doing this. Okay, we're gonna fine James Harden, who's made, what, over $100 million in his career? Fucking 100 grand, 200 grand, 50 grand, 40 grand. This is how you plan to enforce the rules? A slap on the fucking wrist? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I can never take these things seriously, because I just think to myself, even though I understand what they're doing and some aspects of it are good, a lot of it is bad, and a lot of it, like, really can't be enforced, and a lot of it really won't be taken seriously. You know, oh, we're gonna take it seriously by fining you $1 million. Oh, boo-hoo. Okay, like I'm sure fucking Steve Ballmer is gonna go wipe his tears in his fucking Bugatti. Okay, like, that's the only thing I don't understand about all this is they try to do things, and yeah, while the intentions are good, and I understand wanting players to be available for nationally televised games in the in-season tournament, because that's going to be nationally televised as well, but I just think to myself, like, there's no way they're going to actually, like, there will be loopholes, you know what I'm saying? Like, there will be multiple teams who will find loopholes. There are teams now looking for fucking loopholes. LeBron James is looking for loopholes, okay? Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Steve Ballmer are all looking for loopholes. The Boston Celtics with Kristaps Porzingis and maybe even Malcolm Brogdon, if you consider him a star player, are looking for loopholes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's another thing here that I have to question, is, like, what defines a star player? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you mean like Steph Curry, Giannis, Kevin Durant, those guys? Or do we define star player as, like, the best player on the team? You know what I'm saying? Or do we define 2 star players as the 2 best players on a team? Because even though like we have all this, there was a time where they put out a list on Twitter of like all the teams susceptible to this, and the Pacers were not on that. So I think to myself, okay, so Tyrese Halliburton's not a star player is what we're saying. You know, like I don't understand. Like there's criteria and like that needs to be met, and there's so much vagueness in this that I'm just like, there's going to be teams that find a way around this. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's obviously going to be teams that find loopholes, that find their way around this. And, I mean, for all I know, like, I understand, like, the NBA is going to investigate these teams for why players aren't playing. But, like, you know, there's going to be somebody who finds a way to fake an injury. I'm just telling you right now, like, there's going to be teams who find something, who find a way to either fake an injury, fake an illness, I don't know. But, like, if a player is truly injured and can't play, and the NBA is saying, oh, he's got to play, there's going to be somebody somewhere who's like, you know what? We're going to put eye paint on him and paint his eyes black and blue and say he fell down the fucking stairs. Okay, and put a splint on him, too. Like, just to prolong it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they can just delay it or offset it, there are going to be teams who find a way around this. I'm just telling you right now. I like it, but I don't like it because I feel like when they come up with rules like this, they're so overbearing in a way that it's like teams aren't going to be able to help but try to find a way around it, you know? So, anyway, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like, helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.